Okay, today I'm gonna do something a bit different. I tested out Portal with RTX just to see how it looks like on my 4060 NVIDIA graphics card. I tried it in 1080p. I did test it on 4K before and it's not doing that great, but in 1080p it was pretty good. It did stutter at some points, but I just wanted to see how the game looks to see if I can do something like this in the future maybe. And this is basically just a small compilation of some of the things that I've noticed while playing the game. So immediately right off, of course, started the game, got out of the pod. I got the short tutorial on how to move. I did notice this 4090 RTX item hidden in this in the game, and immediately I started, screwing around like you do when you start Portal. You pick up everything. You try to flush the notepad down the toilet. Of course, everyone does this. And of course, it sadly doesn't fit in, maybe at some point in the future. Right off the bat, when you're in the small room at the beginning, you don't notice a lot of things. Now, some of the textures look a bit off. I'm not sure if it's a configuration of my graphics card or some settings in the game or what may have caused this, but I did notice this throughout playing the game. But right at the start, you don't really notice the difference that much until you start noticing small things, such as the fact that you can see the reflection of the portal, of both portals actually, on the actual glass of the pod. So I did basically play around different angles to see how much of it gets reflected and how much gets left out, and to what extent. But yeah, at the beginning here, I've basically been looking around every single angle to see how the light reflects off of stuff, including the metal pillars underneath the platform. You can basically see the light reflecting all around, including the ridge of the platform itself. You can see that red coming from underneath, reflecting off of the metal. It is weird that the red is not reflecting off of the pillars underneath the platform, but I would assume that you would see like a reddish tint on every shiny surface underneath that platform, including the pillars, but I may be wrong, I don't know. The next thing I noticed was, of course, the button. You can see how it has like a red filter on it, and all of the light reflects in a red tint off of it. I did notice some things about how when you get too close to like the box in this case, you can kind of see a shadow, I guess, of your hand or something like that, of your character's hand kind of clipping through. I'm not sure. I mean, technically, it would be like that. Like if you're going to cover an object with your hand, of course, there's going to be shade underneath, but you just wouldn't be able to see it because your hand would be in the way. You can see that I'm playing around with this, basically just bullying this box to see how my hand reflects off of it and stuff like that. Sometimes you can see the outline of my fingers when I walk through it. Yeah, the next thing I did after finishing this tutorial puzzle is I've basically been staring at this ceramic or glass or whatever it is, and then just admiring how all of the light reflects off of all of the small ridges and stuff like that, and the smooth surfaces. I've been kind of looking around the elevator as well to see how it looks like. Same thing with the lights in the elevator. I was looking at the floor to see how it reflects from as we go by the lights, as we go up or down. After playing a bit here, I think at some point I changed the POV or FOV. Yeah, the FOV of the game from 75 to 90. And then here I'm just basically just admiring the room and seeing how all of the different lights reflect on the metal surfaces. Once again, here I'm basically admiring how the red light from underneath is reflecting off of the ridges of the steps. And this is what I'm talking about. I kind of expected underneath the platforms from the beginning to have a similar thing as it is here with the stairs underneath, where you can see like a red light coming from down below, and it's all encompassing everything underneath the stairs. And of course, the moment I got the first portal gun, I started immediately just breaking everything I could break. That's just for fun. Another thing I noticed is that there's a lot of references to NVIDIA in this RTX version of Portal. Like you can see the QR code on the bottom of each security camera, and I think it's an NVIDIA QR code. Now over here I basically just broke all three security cameras from the level, and I started playing around with them, forming a circle around me before I burnt all of them. And again, looking back just to admire all of the lighting reflecting in the room, the red tint from underneath and the light from the observation room reflecting off of the walls from the puzzle room. Now in this elevator I started noticing a really weird glitch where there's this weird light that appears above the elevator as you go through it, but it only appears when you look at it from a certain angle. Like if I look down or up, it starts disappearing, but here for some reason it appeared for a while, and then it disappeared the moment we stopped. Yeah, the next thing here you'll notice is how the energy ball reflects from the walls and all of its environment. Of course, it's not perfect. The moment it touches the thing it's supposed to go in, all of the light disappears without a trace. I think here you can see even better how the light reflects off of the walls as it goes by. Over here I started looking at the water and just noticing how every single surface, light surface essentially, gets reflected off of the water as well and distorted as well as it should be. Over here you can kind of see the glitch again appearing and disappearing from the top of the elevator. And here, once again, the textures kind of glitched out and didn't load in perfectly. And I think this is when I also kind of started seeing some weird glitches happening with the light as well. It kind of looked like, you know how kind of sometimes AI generated images kind of look like there are a bunch of weird textures moving around at random. Kind of looks like a fever dream. From this point on, some of the things will start something like that will start happening in the game as well. You can look at the security camera I'm holding as well. You can see the wires are like flopping around all over the place, but they don't look like it doesn't look like it's the same wire just moving up and down. It just looks like it's degenerating and regenerating in a different place basically. Once again, I'm not sure if that was my graphics card doing this or it was some setting or something or what was the deal with this, but it's just something I've noticed. Then over here I just wanted to once again point out how all of the walls look. It's a different type of texture. It's not the same, moon rock or whatever it's called, or whatever the normal panels are. It's the panels that you cannot put portals on, and they're a lot more reflective than the regular panels. And I just wanted to point out how all of the lights reflect from 1,000 different angles right here. It's quite beautiful, honestly. You can see as I'm holding the camera, it's kind of very blurry at some points for some reason. The textures, it's not even the textures itself, it's the whole model of the camera starts like becoming very fuzzy around the edges. This was me struggling with this puzzle because I couldn't get the angles right, so the ball would bounce exactly where it needs to go. But hey, it looks quite great when the ball gets close to the wall. You can see how the light reflects off of it. From this point on, I basically just continued playing the game. I played it for a bit. I didn't finish it because I didn't have enough time today, but this was mostly to kind of test out the RTX capabilities of the graphics card I have now. It's one of the older ones. I know it's the one that doesn't have the best reputation. It's the 4060, but this was the best thing I could afford at the moment. Even so, in 1080p, this actually still looks pretty good. I'm sure that if I tweak the settings a little bit, it may make it look even better. But even so, even though I've been complaining a lot, it's still miles better than what I had before. But yeah, that is basically all I wanted to show for today. I wish you a good day ahead, and that's it.